Hello there, and welcome back to another day where I have some free time, though I haven't had much of that lately. But in this day's video of unstd-c, we will be trying to represent files as a data structure in C so that it can be used for functions such as fopen, feof, and the other stuff. So let's get started by creating a directory in the source for standard IO. And I guess creating the include file for standard IO. So include standard IO.h, and after this, I guess adding standard IO into our build system. So we'll be adding that as a header. Oops, I've been at this for a while, but due to that long break, I'm stuttering. But I'm gonna put standard IO over here. And that's that for the build part. Now for standard IO, though, we just do the usual header guards. And there should be a define. Now our very first need is a type def for the one that we will be using as a file. So that should be that. And I guess the first function that we'll need is fopen. So that one has a file name and the open mode. So let's see the manual. Yes, I did do it correctly, though it's usually path named. So what else? Well, let's actually define the file and the one inside standard IO. So edit source standard IO and file.h, and we can just add a header file standard IO. I guess file is fine. File h. Oops, an extra. And if and should be a define. Now for the structure file, we can just make it so that um it would have an EOF that would indicate if this file has reached the end. Then I guess if there was an error, so just err. And since Boolean is not a default data type here, we gotta include standard bool. Now, to actually reduce the number of syscalls that will go with this file, we can add a buffer of a size that I wonder how big this should be. I guess around 800 bytes, maybe. That should be fine. And then let's add an integer for how much of the buffer has been used. And the other thing is, I wonder, since If I remember correctly, there's fseek. Oh, was it this one? Huh, I don't know how to use it, so I'll just do it this way. So fseek, yes, it does take a file, and there's ftel as well. So with that, I guess we can add a size t. So with that, we can add standard definition here. And with the size t, that should be file position on where it's reading now, I guess. And I believe that should be it. So let's try to create fopen. So standard IO fopen, let's see. So in here we can include standard IO h and our file .h. Oops. Now we can create the function fopen and the path name and mode. Though there's a few string functions that can check if a few characters exist in a string, but I guess I will not be doing that right now, and it can just be a default one. So first, let's include the Unix standard and add open here with the path name and the mode. There's no O macros. Speaking of which, I gotta add that. So in include Unix standard, I believe that is in the generic assembly headers for Linux and Unix standard H. I hope I'm right on this one. And there should be O read only. Oh, it's not. Huh. Oh well. If that's not it, then what was it? Is it file control? Oh, it is. Okay. So this is the one that will contain that. So going back to the thing, fopen. Let's find that. Now we can add read only for now. Though yeah, it's flags and mode. So shouldn't this be 0? And mode should be the read only one. Though maybe it's better to read the manual. Though this is the wrong manual. So mine 3 open. Wait, no. Was it 2? It is 2. So flags and let's see. Oh, yeah, we do not need that yet. But mode, wait, is this also a flag? This should be mode, right? Oh well, I'll just guess. But anyways, this should return a file descriptor. Well, now that I think about it, I did not define that here in file. There should be a file descriptor as well, since that's the one that will interact with the syscalls. But anyways, if this file descriptor is less than 0, then we return null. And then we try to allocate for a file f. So malloc with the size of f. So the standard lib is also needed now. And if this thing is null, then we return null. And if it's not, then we initialize this. So let's just split this. So find file.h. So the end of file should be false. Same with error. Then the file descriptor should be the file descriptor that we got. Then the buffer. Well, no need to deal with that. But the used portion. Oh, we can just do that. But use should be 0. And what else? The file position as well should be 0. F false. And that's it. And we just need to return F. Though we need a way to actually add modes here. So how much time has passed anyway? Around 12 minutes. Well, I guess it's time to stop for now, since we got a plan how to do this later on. So we'll need to add a few more string functions. And I forgot which one it is. So I gotta look more into the standard. But thank you for sticking with me this far. And may I see you on the next one.